Okay, so in this video I'm just going to work in like an isometric style, and I found this image online just to kind of give me a little bit of inspiration, something to work from, kind of to get me started, I guess, just so that I'm not wasting time like trying to figure out what to do, like what to draw. I just took this image to give me some quick ideas, like a starting point basically. What I'm gonna do first though is kind of choose a neutral background color just so that it isn't so bright. Okay, so isometric art, basically, I created a video previously where I animated a character, which was like an isometric style. But in this video I'm just going to do like more of like a building type of structure, maybe a bridge like this reference image, just so that you know that you could have like a different you get a different idea how to do isometric art rather than you know, just a character or whatever. So isometric art, well, I drew that line just like an isometric line. So that's an isometric line. That's the ratio that you want. It's like 2 pixels by 1 pixel is the way that it goes. So like every 2 pixels over you take a step up, or every 2 pixels over you take a step down, and so by doing that you get kind of the angle of isometric perspective or whatever. And like you could create like boxes and things like that, you know, but I'm just doing it really quick, so that's not accurate. But what I want to do now is kind of just focus on this reference that I have and kind of create similar features. So I guess just start with the top of the bridge, I guess. So if you have like the bridge, I guess I'll keep this line going, and this will be like the corner, the top edge of the bridge, and it just keeps going for however long you want to make it. And now for a curve, I mean, you can be like really accurate and like figure out, you know, say a circle is like this from the side view, but if you want it in isometric view, you're gonna have to like shift the pixels up and basically like slant it, or I forget what the term is, I guess skew it, so you get something like that, right? And you kind of see the edges, like right now they have like that 2 by 1 pixel ratio, and so I'd basically just keep it like that, you know. So that's that would be like the circle in isometric ratio. But you also have to think, because I skewed it, I didn't change the width of it, and so when you turn a circle, like for example, if you have this roll of tape, and this is looking straight on the circle, but if you start rotating it, it gets like thinner. And so the more you look straight on, the more you get the full width of it, whereas the more you're looking at the side of it, you get a thinner width of it. And so when I skewed it, I didn't change the width. So if you want to be like really accurate, you'd have to change the width as well. And I think there's like a certain calculation so that you can get like the exact width that it would be. And it probably would have been good if I had like researched that and looked it up. But I'm just gonna like eyeball it, and just because I don't want this to look exactly like the reference image, I'm just using it for inspiration and just to get some ideas as to like what details to include. So I'm just gonna kind of draw it, I'm just imagining the curve, and another way to kind of gauge how the line should look is you can kind of use the isometric lines as kind of measurements or points of reference, or points of reference in relation to other details that you're making. So I started to curve down here, and as you can see, it's really far away from the top of the edge up here. So the curve, it's going to get closer to the edge, and I guess it slows down the closer it gets, so the distance changes slower as it gets closer to the edge, if that makes sense. And so you get like this kind of gradual curve, rather than something that's just straight. But I think that's kind of pretty obvious. I'm just going to separate this from the layer because I didn't have it separated before, and it's kind of messing with me. So what did I do? Okay. Let me make sure I have the right layer selected. Okay, so yeah, I'm just drawing that curve, and you could kind of did I just, yes I did, I just drew gray on it. Anyways, okay. Yeah, if things aren't perfect, you could edit it and just tweak the pixels a little bit. And I'm kind of making the lines thin as I can, just kind of get rid of any extra pixels that don't really need to be there. And as you can see, like that one little pixel kind of just changing that kind of changes the whole curve, because that pixel that goes down there, you kind of see it doesn't really continue to line smoothly. It kind of gets like a kink in it. So, you know, just shifting that pixel over kind of smooths out the curve, makes it transition more progressively, I guess. And you can kind of like just, you know, play with some of the pixels until it looks like it's, you know, transitioning pretty well. You know, a lot about drawing is just, you know, creating marks or details in the image. If you're drawing on paper, you're just like creating marks on it, you know, with the graphite. And then you're just kind of judging, you know, how those marks are positioned and readjusting them, erasing them, redrawing them until it looks suitable. Okay, so it's kind of hard to talk and draw at the same time. Okay, so we have this kind of curve, and you just add details to it. One thing I should point out is the edge, the vertical edge here. We have to kind of we have to show that like one surface is different from the other surface, because the lighting will kind of shine towards either the left or right. Both sides could be the same shade, but usually it's better to kind of shade them differently, just so that you know, it's easier to see where the edge changes. Oh man, that's not a good color. So say we have that there. So the left side looks brighter than the right side, and we could like shade that color value. Okay, so just kind of continuing adding detail. I'm going to wrap this line around the shape so that it kind of goes like that. Maybe I won't make it go that far. Maybe I'll put like some kind of edge to the curve, kind of accentuate these bricks that kind of go around here, as you can see. It's not completely accurate with the dimensions and that sort of thing, but you know, generally speaking, like with architecture and things like that, there's certain details that kind of are consistent or are seen in a lot of structures, and so if you just try to include those types of details, it kind of suggests that it's, you know, it's a structure. basically it's like you're just adding kind of a context to what it is that you're drawing, just so that your mind can make sense of what it's seeing. Like, for example, creating bricks, that sort of pattern. It just kind of makes your mind have something to kind of recognize. So your mind will see it and be like, oh, that's a brick. I don't care if these are completely aligned, I guess, these lines. You can see it's kind of offset. This line is the 2:1 pixel ratio, rather than, say, these are like more in line, but these other ones are kind of offset like that. Doesn't really matter too much, as long as you get the right ratios going. And shifting it just that little bit kind of adds a little bit more thickness to the brick. Like if I shifted the line over 1 pixel, it makes that brick slightly smaller. So I'm just kind of maintaining this thickness to the brick. Okay, so what else? You could add like more values to things. Like if I want, I could kind of make that lighter like that. So I'm kind of suggesting that it's hidden the light. As if the light's coming down on it or something like that. Maybe I'll make this a little darker. I should change the background color. Okay, so, oh, okay. I guess I did that line alright. Sometimes you end up like getting like that line off a little bit like that, and then you have to like go back in and like adjust it. But I managed to get the line straight. See, like that, I just didn't really get it straight. Okay, there we go. Oh no. Okay. Okay, I want to get like the other side of this curve, just so that I can kind of give you an idea as how to complete the curve. If that matters to you, I don't know. Oh, wait a second. This should probably be up a bit like that. Kind of to mirror the edge a bit. Okay, so how should I do this curve? You know, you could eyeball it a little bit, you know, like that. It probably would help to have a line that goes down somewhere. There we go. I'm just going to use that to kind of help me see like when this thing should end. Or reach the bottom or whatever. Okay, so this is like 6 pixels wide at the base of it. So over here I have to figure out, okay, 6 pixels wide would be like right there. Yeah. Okay, so I mean, it looks pretty good already, the curve. I guess you could find like the center point, kind of measure it, just so that you could see so the measure point would be like right in those 2 pixels. So this would be like the top center would be right here. And so with that in mind, you kind of compare across this distance here at the curve and see like how far the line is away from the top of the edge, and just kind of make it a similar distance, the same distance ideally. So you know, it starts going down like around, actually it starts going down around here. So yeah, it probably won't be entirely accurate since I'm just like eyeballing it, but you have to just do like what looks good, I guess, in this situation. Like I said before, if I had like the exact calculation for it, I could do that. I could just like draw the curve straight on and then skew it and then apply a scale to just the width. That's if I had the calculation for it. And I'm pretty sure there's a calculation for it. Okay, so this line comes around here. line's looking pretty good. Curve. Okay. Okay, now I guess you're gonna have to see like the other side of it. And these two curved lines here will be the same. Same shape. Oops. So let's see. I guess the line goes down to there, and then it'll go across. I'll make it the same value as, you know, the same side. Although it probably should get darker because it's kind of curving forward, and if the light's coming from above, it won't catch as much light. So, and it's, the curve is getting more more forward. So yeah. And I didn't really calculate the width, and I should have. See, that's off by a pixel. It's not too bad. So just do that. And I guess I'll just continue that value over, since I don't have like a line on this side anyways. And this will probably be like that. Okay, so let's zoom out a bit and just look at it. As you can see, it's looking like a bridge thing. Okay, I just want to check something. Actually, okay, I'm going to copy that and then put this over here and kind of put it in the same place, same distance from the edge, top edge. That way I have that line go through exactly where it should. Is that right? So that's, yeah, that's right. Right length. Oh yeah. I want to measure when that line gets over and meets with the curve. Takes that amount of width. So when this line gets over to this side, So yeah, it meets pretty much the same where the curve goes. Maybe it needs to curve down sooner. Okay. It's probably, I don't know, probably slightly more accurate. I don't know. I think I just changed it back. Oh, I like how it looks like that, I guess. Okay, what's next? And just keep adding more detail to it until you're satisfied with what it looks like. You could do like angles. Let's do an angle. You know, first you have to figure out what angle you want. Like you could have the angle, you know, follow a certain ratio, like that. So as you can see, it kind of, you know, angles out. You can also have it, you know, like angle even more. And have this like come down. Kind of like it's, again, narrower at the top. So like the bottom of that would be larger than the top, kind of like it's a pyramid shape. So I'll do a pyramid shape because it's a little difficulter, or it's more difficult than, you know, just an angle in one dimension or whatever. And this would probably be slightly dark because it's on that side from that wall, but it's angled up, so it's probably catching more light than the vertical wall. I'm going to make kind of a wall over here. kind of structure this is. I'm just kind of making forms just kind of to show how to do isometric art. This doesn't really represent any type of structure. Okay, so this side goes, it's like 2 pixels, then 1, 1, 2 pixels, 1, 1, 2 pixels. So, okay, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Let's, yeah. Actually, let's start it like that. Let's see how that looks. See here, I get the same width on either side, just so that it's mirrored evenly. But as I get over here, it's kind of making this corner look a bit dull or blunt. So maybe I could just play with that a little bit so that it's sharp there. So 1, 1, and then 2, 1, 1, 2, like that. Yeah. That should work. And then I'll make this go straight down again. Okay, as you can see, that makes it look like that pillar kind of gets larger at the bottom. And this is basically how you make isometric structures. It's just a lot of measuring your angles, distances along those angles. It's not that hard. You just have to kind of exercise yourself and or exercise like your observation of just 2 positions relative to each other. You pick one position that you want to check against, and you pick another one that's kind of related to it in some way. Like it might share the same height or the same distance along an object. And so you just kind of compare things or triangulate things, I guess. I guess I would use like 3 points or yeah. Yeah. So okay, so I guess I'll just continue. Like over here, just add, more bricks. See, that brick's too thick, so I'm making it the same thickness as those bricks down here. See it? So like in that instance, I'm taking this brick over here. That's 1 point, 1 area, one point of reference, and then I'm referencing the other brick. Okay, that's 2 points of reference. That line, the same line that they shared, the bottom of the line. And then I'm comparing both of those. I know they're the same. I'm comparing it with the top of the brick, that line up here. And so that's 3 points of reference. I'm triangulating those distances, those measurements, making sure they all line up, because I want them to kind of I don't know the word, share resemblance, I guess. And when you line those things up, it kind of makes your mind kind of connect the two and see the similarities that you've drawn. And it'll be like, oh, that's another brick, and it's the same height as that brick down there, even though that brick's positioned up. It's a continuance of that surface as it angles that way. So yeah, it's all about like tricking your mind into like believing that something's there because everything points in the right direction, or that suggests that it's there, I guess. Does that make sense? I try to explain things in ways that might not have been explained in such a way before, just so that I'm creating more variety in the world. I don't want to just be like saying the same things that someone else says, because they're already saying it. You wouldn't have to listen to me, you could just listen to them. So I want to make sure that what I say is personalized a bit. I feel like that I'm creating more value that way. So if something doesn't make sense, tell me, and maybe I can explain it better. You can tell me what doesn't make sense or whatever. Or if you have suggestions for videos and that sort of thing. So, yeah. And, these two shapes down here are the same, so I could just like copy this if I wanted it on the other side as well. I can just copy that, but down here, make sure it's lined up. We got another base to that pillar. Yeah. Okay, so I guess I don't want this video again too long, so I'll just stop this here and maybe get some feedback if there needs to be another video on isometric stuff. Maybe I'll do some more isometric stuff later, but I think that's a good start.